Robert Guralnik. 3, 2, 1. Robert Guralnik, you and I are sitting on stage here in the Alice White Recital Hall at UMKC, and this evening your concert of Franz Liszt will be beginning, and you will be in character throughout. So I thought this would be an interesting thing to talk about, because this is a day and age of character one-night theatrical events.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this unusual for this to happen in a musical sense?
Oh, indeed it is. As far as I know, I and a very good friend of mine by the name of Robert Roudier, a violinist, are the only ones doing this kind of a format with serious music.
He does Paganini.
He does Paganini, that's correct. And actually we're going to do a two-man show together that we've just had written and have rehearsed, and it will go on the boards the latter half of this season, I believe.
Now, you've done this sort of thing before, but before we get into that, I'd like to find out what sort of format you have in mind. Will you be following Liszt's life in only the concert years, or as an abbé, or what?
Well, it really is kind of an overall view. Liszt, we present Liszt at the end of his life. He's at the age of 83. He, has been living in Weimar for 30 years. He's become the renowned teacher and grand old man of music, and
still resisted taking the celibacy vow.
Celibacy, what's that?
Yes.
And he's an old, bizarre genius, and he has no time for garbage. And the premise of the show is he comes in, and there's people in his apartment, and he doesn't recall inviting him there. And why are you here? And I'm busy. I've got work to do. And well, as long as you're here, I might as well talk to you. So, and that's really the way it all gets going.
You were talking to us.
That is correct. Yeah. And he talks about, after all, the two women who played such vital roles in his life, the Countess Dagu and the Princess von Wittgenstein, at whose house this was, although she wasn't there very often by that time. And he talks about his early years, and he talks about his middle years, and even his, how difficult it is now with all the responsibilities. After all, this man was looked up to from all over the world.
As we talk, lights are being tested on us on stage. Mm-hmm. Tell me about some of the stage craft involved in the show.
Well, I don't quite know what I should say to you. It is a fully staged show. It's a scripted play. It's a one-man show. Liszt, it's his apartment, and he's kind of, as I say, has no time for any nonsense, and he's annoyed, and therefore he's throwing things until he finally calms down and accepts that people are people in there. Now, when you say in terms of the stagecraft, what are you asking? How I got into it?
The manipulation of things like curtains, lights. When moods will be established by means of any scenic props, whatever.
Oh, no, there's a set, a small set which depicts his apartment in Weimar. There are some light changes, but minimally. We try to keep this as simple as possible, and the man and his music speak for himself.
There are a number of books on the table here beside you.
They're just prop books. Yes.
Look like Wilkie Collins.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think he ever read. I don't think he ever read any Wilkie Collins. No, but these, his apartment was out of the 1880s, and so it was quite overstuffed, and so we have to give some kind of feeling of a lot of things around, and he doesn't care where he puts things, and so they're kind of strewn about.
Certainly, Liszt didn't have to wait for his advancing age to be a rather bizarre character. In his concert years, for example, will you be recreating the costumes and some of the mannerisms on stage?
No, he is an old man. Now, he relives his youth, but only through, looking back at it. And as he says, after he plays La Campanella, well, it's not bad for an old man on his way out.
Tell me about, then, some of the music that you will be playing.
The music that is done here, the theme song, if you will, of the show is the Liebesstraum. But that opens it and closes the show. We have the Sonetto number 104, the La Campanella, as I said, the 11th, the Hungarian Rhapsody, and the big work, which kind of comes at where the dramatic crux of the whole evening is the Dante Sonata.
Yes. You have also done an evening with Frédéric Chopin, which
called Chopin Lives. Yes.
Now, interesting contrast in characters here. In both cases, have you done a lot of extra research, or did you find already a sympathetic vibration with both?
Oh, there's been a tremendous amount of research going on for all of the shows. We have a third one, that our first effort at a two-person show, Brahms and Clara, which is beginning to be very successful now.
Could be a bit controversial, too, maybe.
Well, sure, but why shouldn't it be? And, no, a great deal of research goes into it. Yes, there's also an affinity. I mean, there are parts of me that are very much Chopin in terms of attitude towards a lot of things. Not all of me, but part. And there's certainly a part of me that's in some ways as bizarre as Liszt. But as I say, not all of me by any means.
I'd like a comment from you, if I might, upon another theatrical event about a famous musician. I'm talking about Amadeus, in which not only are we entertained with some wonderful dramatic situations, but of course the music is there in part also. Do you see this as a trend now in the way concert goers are attracted to the hall?
I don't know whether that's a trend, but I do know what people are looking for constantly is another way of presenting themselves and presenting their music. They find, and Leonard Bernstein told us this 30 years ago, and nobody really listened. That the recital was dying, and that and it took another 20 years or more for people to understand that and to say, hey, if I'm going to survive in this world, after all, the recital business, we should come out on stage and play a recital for an hour and a half, and nobody says anything, and there's this distance that's established with your audience. I mean, that's been around since Liszt. Liszt was the first one who did that. It has lived its day. It is no longer really viable, I don't think, in today's world. I mean, we have a generation that's grown up that has no concept of a world without television, for example, and that has changed our lives enormously.
But yet, with Liszt's dramatic sense, do you think he would have approved of such a concept then?
Oh, absolutely. Why not? I think anybody, who is trying to say something and make known to the world what he has to say, will find a way to do it, and many young performers today are in their own way looking for other ways to break down this enormous gulf that has been established between the artist and the audience.